Feeling the groove. It's relaxing. It's the spring game. If you're in the Midwest, you're probably like preparing your lawn and putting down weed and feed, right? Ducking hurricanes, ducking tornadoes. No, hurricane season's in the fall. What am I saying? We're about to enter the summer. It's the end of the spring game, end of football for the foreseeable future until spring practice in August. So it's got mixed emotions for tonight's show. So here we are. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining the Fighting Irish Faithful show. I am Joe at Faithful_Irish on the X. And we are going to be talking a lot about practice. Because we had a spring game, which was literally a glorified practice. But there are some things we can take from that. Some things that jump off the page per se. We're going to talk about the draft, and we can talk about whatever people want with respect to Notre Dame football. So with that, I don't have a whole lot of other intro stuff. We're 131 days against Wisconsin, right? It seems so far in the future. And it'll probably be about 105 days until I return to y'all coming in early August, probably August 11th when I was scheduling things out based off of how the schedule goes. So anyway, this is season 7, episode 2, volume 174 of all time. Really appreciate everybody for joining us. We'll bring the director of intelligence on to start this off on episode 2. Jay, are you there?
I am here.
You are here in the flesh. Well, virtually, right? But you are here.
All right.
Welcome.
Here. Thanks.
What do you have any big takeaways from the spring game or impressions or this, that, or the other? Or like just, or is it, it's practice. It's fun to see the team and we'll take what we can. I don't know.
A couple of takeaways. Yeah.
Okay.
The first one is I think that CJ Carr is going to make a lot of young receivers look better than they are right now. He was throwing the ball very well for a spring game, better than I expected.
Okay.
And the young receivers were definitely trying to show that they were worthy of a starting role, and it looked good. So from the offensive side, that was my takeaway. The defense looks like they're still hurting from last year as far as the fact that they feel like, they got ripped off.
Yeah.
So I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder even in the spring game. So we'll see if that carries over all the way to actual, game time.
Yeah, with respect to the defense, I actually think they outperformed my expectations. Showed a lot of promise, especially, and I wrote this down. I was going to say this for later, but since you're bringing it up, who was it? Drake Bowen did not see the field, and spring game. Man, where are all of my notes? I know it's here. Wow, this is really bad podcasting. But, golly willikers, I wrote this down. Oh, Leonard Moore. There it is. I can't read my own handwriting. Leonard Moore and Drake Bowen were both did not suit up. Were not in uniform, in street clothes, what have you, during the spring game, which shows me that when two of your best players on the defense, one of them your captain, isn't there, right? And so I think that shows a lot of promise for the defense with respect.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So, were you entertained by the spring game, or is it just kind of like, look, it's practice with show, I mean, the weather was beautiful, right? It's one of those spring games where it's like, it would have been nice at least for the weather to be there.
Yeah, I was definitely entertained. I was pleased to see the turnout, at the stadium. It was
massive turnout.
Right. So that shows what maybe the expectation is for this incoming season from the fans. Uh, and yeah, it was fun to watch. There weren't, I mean, there weren't any major injuries out of it, so I'm always happy when that
Yeah,
happens.
nothing serious. I read a couple articles. They said the same thing. No major injuries, which is great. Maybe there's some bangs and bruises or whatever because that's football. But
Right.
nothing serious that we should be concerned about or that would be debilitating. For the fall. When it really
Yeah.
matters. Well, good, 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 good. Is there any what do you make of CJ Carr? Like, were you overwhelmed, underwhelmed? Because I'll be honest, I was a little underwhelmed with his performance, but I also know and I though that's what I see and that's what I take in, I also have to filter that through and say, look, it's a spring game. He's not really live. He does not all the pieces are there. We still have many, many more practices to go before we play a real team in Wisconsin in Lambeau.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah.
He's getting used to new receivers. He only has really one receiver that he threw to a lot last year that's on the field, and so I'm not worried at all. As far as that aspect, and plus it's spring game, so they're throwing things out there that a lot of these receivers are just learning. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They've learned this playbook for 3 weeks, where he's been learning it for a year or even 2 years. So I think I think by the time we hit, the end of August, everything will be clicking okay with him because, I mean, I was more worried about him last year at this point than I am now. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and they brought this up on the Peacock, and which is where the game was broadcast. So, but the one thing I kind of forgot, and it's kind of hard to and weird to think about is they were interviewing Freeman, and he was talking about the offense. They're talking about CJ Carr, etc. And Freeman is the one who said, "Yeah, this is the first time I'm returning my starting quarterback. This
yep.
is year 5. This is his 5th year in the program. This is 5th spring game, and this is the first time he's returning his starting quarterback from the previous year, which is nuts. So let's go back in the time machine. Let's recall who these young men were. First season was Buckner, right?
Buckner and Pine, yeah.
And Drew Pine, right? But so pick that for what it is. It sounds kind of like a law firm, Buckner and Pine. Then you had, come on, you know who it is. I know who it is.
Who came in after? Let's see. Let me go.
He
Let me go
had the
backwards.
legit beard. Played in Ireland.
Sam.
Sam
Yeah,
Hartman. Okay.
Yep.
So then we have Sam Hartman. Okay. Then you've got Riley Leonard, who comes in
Yep.
right after that in the 2024 season, right? Magical year 3, which was great, which is really funny because I'm listening to that season in old shows right now, and man, we were such haters on Riley Leonard.
Well, I mean, he's if I have a quarterback that's his, I had those running backs, and yet he ran for more attempts
Yeah.
than those running backs did. So I mean, I get it, but I would have rather had somebody who could pass it. I think that's why last year was so good because Carr could throw the ball to a receiver, and be accurate and down the field,
Mm-hmm.
and that opened up the runners to be able to run, averaging 5, 6, 7 yards a carry
Absolutely.
because you couldn't just key on the box. I mean, if you go back to the year before, they were keying on the box. Oh, Estime is going to run the ball.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's wild. Here, we'll pull up this stat here in the spreadsheet. Completion. If we just talk completion percentage from last year, right? National champions averaged 69% in this statistic. Now Notre Dame has not ever hit that. But what is cool is the best it has been since I've been keeping data is Jimmy Clausen of 2009. Okay, 67.3%. And then you got Carr from last year. he was 67.2% here. So the worst it ever was 2017. That's the Wimbush effect, unfortunately. But no, in 2025, CJ Carr was the best we have seen from a completion percentage for a Notre Dame quarterback ever since Jimmy Clausen. And I think that is a fantastic place to be, especially since, like, I was thinking about this statistic and how important this is from a completion percentage standpoint. And I remember when I was a student, right? Clausen was there, right? That was my second year as a grad student. And we're like, oh, man, Clausen is going to do so much better this year than he did the year before, da-da-da-da. And we saw that, right? But the problem was the O-line wasn't very good, nor was the defense. And it's like, gosh, if Jimmy just had some more help, we would have been a BCS, contending type team. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for us, and But anyway, we don't need to dwell on the woes of the past. We can look at this metric for basically a first-time starter, right? Because let's not forget, this 67.3% of Clausen, that's essentially his third year starting. I mean, I don't think he technically started in 2007, but he eventually became the starter, right?
Right.
And then he's a starter, and 09 he's definitely a starter, and he's a captain. CJ Carr last year, first time as a starter, and is putting up Jimmy Clausen-esque numbers. Come on, right? So, but I also think that the team is stronger for Carr, right? So that's probably supporting him as well, and that's not a disservice to him and his individual skill sets. That's not what I'm saying, but overall, to ultimately, from a statistics standpoint, stat sheet standpoint, this is where Carr is ending up. I think it's a great place for us to springboard into the 2026 season.
Yep. 100%. I mean, offensive line is probably the best that I've seen in the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think that our defense, if we can stay healthy, and B, pick up where we left off last year.
Yeah.
Because my goodness, last year at the end of the year, they were clicking on all cylinders.
Absolutely.
Granted, the competition towards the end of the season wasn't as strong as we went out of the gates with. But I mean, if we can just build on that momentum and keep that going, you've got the players, you've got the same scheme, so you're not learning a new defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
You're not learning new schemes. You're not having new players do that. So I think I'm optimistic. How's that? That this next season is going to be one where all the pieces are put together.
I think you have every right to be optimistic, especially since last year our rush defense, which is one of the most important stats, it's the second most important statistic that I keep track of. Our rush defense, which you can't see on YouTube, sorry YouTube people, was the best it's been at Notre Dame, 100.1 yards in rush defense, so that's great. National champ, it's not national champion, esque, right? But still, it's the best it's been, clearly in Freeman's years, and certainly the best over Kelly, etc. Scoring defense was not trash. It was decent, right? It wasn't as good as 2024, but 17.6 is in the ballpark to get stuff done. And then total defense, total yard point defense, could probably be better. We were 22nd in the country last year. But I mean, we were top 10 in the most important defensive stat. So I'm with you. I think the defense under Chris Ash, it had a lot of bumps, it had a ton of bruises when it started out. But when we got to, we found our stride. Okay. We did find our stride, and it probably took that Arkansas game for us to, get a shot of confidence in the arm.
Yeah. Arkansas was good on both sides of the ball for us.
Oh,
it
gosh.
really was. Yeah.
If you're depressed in the off season, or you just doing the doldrums of the summer, right? That's why we kind of ran in with Summer Breeze there, Seals and Croft there for everybody on the beginning of the show. Yeah, go watch that Arkansas game again. You'll feel just fine.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, so Luis is back. Let's bring him on. Let's have open forum here. By the way, Jay, I owe you an apology here.
No, you don't. It's fine.
No, it's not fine. We didn't get your walk-up music, so we're not gonna not acknowledge this, right? Is that what you thought?
Always,
Is that what you
always
thought?
great to hear.
Is that what you
Yeah.
thought I was gonna say? Or
Yep.
like
Yeah, I knew exactly what you were talking about. Yeah.
the director of intelligence knows what he knows. So, at that note, let's transition over to our front man here, who we're bringing up second. Sorry, Luis. Who I loved his advice that he gave me earlier in the day. So, Luis, you there? Says you're on mute.
Yes, sir.
All right. At 5'9", I don't know. But,
5'6", out of Fresno, California. Young man, you're shit talking, backing up Notre Dame football all day, every day. SOB motherfucker, letting you know how Notre Dame is gonna win 27. Shit.
Amen. Amen. Luis, I really wish during my job interview I had today, I had an interview at work today, by the way, but I thought it went well, but I actually was like, what if I answered questions the way Luis speaks on this podcast? Like, I don't know how that would go. Like, that's either going to really work or really not work. And given the manager who I would be working for, right? I don't know if it would work so well. So
We just gotta let them know, boy. We stand on business.
That's right. I did like your comment about that and say it's like Notre Dame. We stand on business. It's like, and I work for a company. We're a business. We're here to make money, right? So like, it all fits, right?
Yeah, especially when we have like round tables. Okay, we're gonna gather. This is open floor. I'm like, all right, is it for real open floor? Like, yeah. Or I'm gonna shoot the shit. Let's keep it 100, and I stand on business. Where's my money at?
Yeah, that's right. Good times. Well, Luis, we're glad to have you back on the show here. I have a question for you. What did you think of Notre Dame's practice?
We're talking about practice. We talking about practice.
I mean, that's all we're talking about here. We're it's a practice that we're commenting on, and we're like, here's my opinion about the spring game. Number one, it's really fun. Number two, I'm totally underwhelmed, but it's hard to not expect that. It's really fun to see our friends when we go, right? But I haven't been in a couple years, right? And I got the little kids, and my folks just moved here recently, so we're kind of helping them move and stuff, which is great. Okay. But that being said, the spring game is so underwhelming relative to an actual game, that matters, for our record for the season. So, but yeah, walk me through your takeaways for the spring game. The floor is yours.
I mean, at first, first and foremost, my reason of not being there, which thanks to you guys and thanks to all of you that I met through here, I was actually planning to head out there. I already pretty much had my ticket booked, everything set up, because I wasn't supposed to be here right now. Like my train of thought was somewhere else.
Yeah.
So. Changed and so I'm like, well, I gotta be at the Blue and Gold game. And then about a month before the Blue Sun left, it's day. So you know me, bro. I gotta make sure my son looks bougie and looks good and all that, because like as a single parent, bro, like there's a lot that I wasn't able to do growing up, and I have that ability to give something to my kid that I know that I treasure for the rest of my life, which was my prom.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's the reason why my reason of not being there. Like I just had to be there for my son.
Amen.
He's gonna get deployed in August to the Navy. So it's like there's certain things in life, like I've always said, I've always sacrificed my personal happiness for the happiness of my kids. So I just told my kid, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna be here for you. And then he, had a really blast. I had a real good time with my kid. Went to go, got his little tailor suit, got all measurements and everything. So it was a moment that it was really priceless for me. Being at home while he's getting ready and still finding that we were missing a couple things. I was watching the Blue and Gold game, my bits and pieces. I haven't been able to watch the whole thing. What I did see though was like I think, like the Blue and Gold game is not even a Blue and Gold game anymore. It's more like get to meet the new players, see what they're about, hang out, have fun.
Practice.
I mean, it's really a practice.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like the way I see it is you can't read too much into it.
No,
you know what I mean? You gotta trust Marcus Freeman. And at this point, I don't know what he needs to do to have people just to lay off and let Marcus Freeman do his thing. Like you mentioned a couple
laying
things.
on? Can I put it that way? Who's laying on?
Oh, couple. I mean, you still have your little haters, Brian Kelly lovers and stuff like that.
Who the fuck are those idiots? Not on this show.
So
I invite any of those people on, by the way, because the guy got fired from LSU, which I knew would happen, but whatever.
Yeah, but you remind me of like Marcus Freeman's first year, and how like I really think that I've said it a couple of times before. His first year doesn't even really count because it's not like he had a say so on the offense. It was like you had two head coaches, one ran the offense and the other one ran the defense, and you literally saw night and day how Tommy Rees wanted to stick with Buckner and Drew Pine, and you remember how that went. And as soon as Tommy Rees gave us the finger and went to Alabama, Marcus Freeman took the reins over. You know what I mean? And I really feel like that's when that second year is where I really started seeing the better fruits of Marcus Freeman. And I've always said, let the guy cook, man, and he's cooking.
Well, and it's in his first year, I think we kind of we kind of gave him that latitude and that leeway because he was a new coach. He had never been a head coach, right? So he's kind of finding his way. And then you have Tommy Rees, who's been around for a little bit. He's kind of a carryover from the Kelly years, so he's trying to create some sort of continuity with the current roster of players he has, And so then while Freeman's building his guys, finding his identity, becoming himself as a coach in college, right? It's going to take him a while to find his own stride, his own voice, if I may use those terms. And so I think we gave him a lot of latitude and leeway. And, obviously it was rocky, it was bumpy. We lost to Marshall, we lost at Ohio State and whatnot, and then, we go out and we're feeling actually pretty good with how things are going when we go out to USC. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well at that game. But what I will say is, that we win the bowl game, et cetera, and it's like we go into year 2 and we're feeling pretty good with Sam Hartman. So like I'm with you. It's this is clearly our coach. He's clearly seasoned. He's going to run the spring game the way we want to talk about.
Practice,
it's
man.
A practice. And that is essentially what, the reality that we are right now as we go into the summer, essentially months, and hope these guys get faster and stronger. And, we don't have any weird off-season nonsense. So.
Yeah. And you could literally see on some of the guys, like the offense, it took a while for them to start, getting it together. But I was more impressed with the backup quarterback. I think Hebert showed some moxie, but I still think Grubbs is underrated. Be honest with you, I think I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy the kid. Just what Grubbs is doing as an athlete, as a kid that's like, you know what? I'm betting on myself. Bring whoever you want to bring. I'm going to be here. I'm preparing. I'm going to try to win the second, backup quarterback. Like, I like that about that kid. You know what I mean? Because he could have easily decommitted, gone somewhere else, get NIL bag and all that. But he's not. He's sticking it out. And
Well, both
man,
of them are freshmen technically per the roster. Now, Notre Dame unfortunately does not designate red shirt or whatnot. So, but Blake Herbert is, I don't know if it's Abear or Herbert, but someone can correct me who's more savvy. He's been in the program. Noah Grubbs is an early enrollee, and then I did put this in my notes here. We actually do have another quarterback coming in for the people who are on
Teddy Gerard.
YouTube. They can see this. Who is it?
Teddy Gerard.
I'm in the wrong freaking year. My bad. Gosh darn it. 20.
He
Nope.
reclassified.
You guys are probably 100% right. I'm not on your level.
He's from Georgia. He's out of Georgia.
Yeah, he's from Georgia. I did see that.
Yeah. Yeah,
There
I
it is.
mean,
What the fuck? What's wrong with this?
I just love how.
Down here, letters of intent. There he is, Teddy Gerard. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, what I see is that Notre Dame has raised the level of recruit where the Lou Holtz era was at. Player they want, player they get.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just offer just to offer. You get that letter from Notre Dame, it is special. And then after what you just saw from Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love making the first time in history that a backup got drafted in the first round, that's remarkable for Notre Dame. That is what you want. That's what you want, your head coach. And that's the kind of elevation and enhancement that Marcus Freeman brings as a head coach. And he's bringing it into the players. He's bringing it to the institution. He's bringing that respect, that honor, and dignity and pride back to Notre Dame. And we're no longer the laughing stock. And we have a chip on our shoulder. And we're about to show the world why you guys left us out of the playoffs, because we were gonna beat your Cinderella team, and y'all didn't want to see that ass whooping.
No. Did you, Luis? Did you get? Did you see the title of our last show?
Nah, bro.
What? You may appreciate it.
I know. I literally, bro. Like, honestly, I should be in bed right now because I have to wake up at 2 a.m. just to be at work at 3.
All right.
And I'm like, I missed your show last time. I felt so bad. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna thug it out tomorrow. I gotta be at my boy's show. I gotta call in. I gotta be part of the team because
It's on Spotify. I'll say I don't want to razz you or anything. Obviously, you're working, you're doing what you got to do. We titled last episode the first episode of this season 7, prior to the spring game. We titled it Mexican Joker. Which, if people are savvy, I'm sure you understand this. It is a play, we're kind of stealing from a South Park episode, okay? Because I do think that the system, college football, the system, the playoff committee, what have you, the powers that be, have created Notre Dame to be the villain. And I'm embracing the villain, the bad guy MO with Notre Dame. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and physically abuse people and try to physically cause harm. But the team should play with a chip on their shoulder. We talked about this last week. We'll talk about it all season. This team not necessarily has something to prove, but we're going to demonstrate to you that you created us this way now, college football system, by screwing us over, having James Madison and Tulane in there, even though that is the rules. You couldn't not have an ACC team in there, so you had to put Miami here. Grant, they went to the title game. Respect a little bit to the Convicts, even though I fucking hate them. And I was happy to see IU win. But that being said, Fucking Alabama did not deserve to be in there after getting their ass whipped by Georgia. Oklahoma, shitty offense, really decent defense, whatever. We don't need to dwell on this. Notre Dame is now the villain, and the leaders should never forget what happened to them, because we, the fans, and that team of 2025 will never know how good and how far they could have gotten, because their season, our players' season was ripped away from them, and there was nothing we could do, and it sucks. So with that, chinga tu madre, and we're the villain now. We're the Mexican Joker of 2026. So
That's what I'm telling you. That's why when we go this upcoming up year, you're gonna leave no doubt, and no one's gonna question that,
leave
because we're gonna
no doubt. Amen.
We're gonna give a 4 quarters of chinga tu madre football. So be ready for that.
Amen. That's right. I love it. All right, let's get over to Mac, because I've got a fun stat piece that I wanted to talk about. Luis, hang on here. Thanks so much. We'll invite Mac to speak here. Let's find his walk-up music here. Although it would be nice if I was on the right file here. Whatever. Okay. Oh, what did I do? What's up, Mac? Welcome back.
How are you?
Yeah, we're doing good. This episode to me is always bittersweet, because it's like, all right, it's episode 2 of the season, and then we're gonna put all this podcasting shit away. So because
Pretty much, yeah.
we're not gonna talk about Notre Dame football from a podcast standpoint, at least until what did I write down here? August 11th. That's what I estimated. We'll have a hello, I'm back type of episode. We'll have a player and personnel. We'll probably talk about quarterbacks or something else. And then it'll be Wisconsin week, right? So usually,
hopefully they'll have a field goal kicker.
What do you mean hopefully? We do have a field goal kicker. Okay.
Well, last year wasn't great.
Last year was not great, but this year, so that means you haven't at least seen the highlights.
I've not watched anything of the Blue Bowl game.
Yeah, I won't. All right, let me spill some beans for you. All right, get through the whole thing, but right at the end, we end the show. I feel like, Mac, you put sent a Post-it note or something to Coach Freeman. I'm watching this, I'm like, did Mac do something cryptic here? I don't know. What happened at the end of the spring game, all right, which in my mind was one of the biggest takeaways, is that Spencer Perath, our transfer from Purdue of all schools, but he's a local Indianapolis-ish kid. He's from Brownsburg, Indiana, right? It's a suburb of Indiana, or of Indianapolis. He junior, it's getting down to the wire, and then we set up a place kick from 45 out, and he nails it. And everyone's the whole team was around him, and they made this gauntlet. It almost looked like a college game day type of kick, if that makes sense. And he nails it. So it was a fun way to end the spring game on a high note, with our kicker coming in there, quote, under pressure and booting a 45-yarder. Which is interesting because in the notes here, Mac, based off of last week's show, you got me thinking about this 4th down and kicking thing, and I wanted to talk about that. But before I do that, I wanted to throw it back to you.
Yep. What about that?
I mean, it was your premise here saying that.
So I looked it up and I saw how many times they went for it on 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
And their 4th down conversion rate was 66th in the country, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Which obviously isn't good. And so we look at, if you watch the Miami game or you watch the Texas A&M game, I think they went for it twice in Texas A&M,
mm-hmm.
and were short. and they went for it twice on fourth down. And who knows what happens if you don't, if you get something positive on that play, even. And then I looked it up and I saw, well, you said that they had ridiculous amount of non-attempts, but their field goal conversion rate, was almost last in the country.
It was really bad. It was really bad.
And I'm like, so my thought is for this team to take it to the next level, fourth down can't be a negative play where it's helping the other team, because you're either getting them momentum, better field position,
right,
or you're taking points off the board by getting into a scoring position and not converting.
Right.
And that's what I thought killed them, is because fourth down on the offense was typically a negative play. And that's what I thought killed them last year.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So I've thought about this all week, quite frankly. This is what I thought about. And I digested this and I came up with a couple things. Number one is fourth down, in my mind, is defined in a couple ways. First is you're from the line of scrimmage and you either convert and get a first down or you don't. That's one. Two, you're in the red zone. It's fourth and goal and you score or you don't. Three, you kick a field goal, right? And you're either successful there or you're not, or you punt. So there's only four things that can possibly happen on fourth down, right? Again, convert, touchdown, or first down, right? Field goal or punt. Okay. So I wanted to look and expand out those scenarios here. So fourth down conversion or scoring is kind of one and the same from a statistics standpoint. So last year, Notre Dame was 17 of 31 on fourth down. Okay. So not great. 36%. Not really good. IU, your national champion, 10 of 18. Okay. In that same statistic. We'll skip field goals for a second. Punts, Notre Dame had a total of 25 punts, which is actually really low for last season.
Yes, it is.
It's really low. Do you know how many punts IU had? Don't bother guessing. I'll tell you. IU, your national champion, had 43 total punts for the season. Okay? But here's the clincher, and I think this is where you're going with, Mac, and why this is relevant to the, quote, one of the most exciting things about the spring game, with our new kicker here. Field goals, Notre Dame was 5 of 9. We mentioned this last week, so not good. 56%. Do you know what IU, your national champion, was?
Not on top of my head.
It's really, really good. They were 96% on kicking field goals. 19 of 21 for the season. Notre Dame was 5 of 9. We're shy 40%. Delta of 50%. It's really not good.
And what's his name? The kicker who made the kick in the Orange Bowl, was it Jeter? Or what was that his name?
Oh,
he had a good season that year.
Yeah, Jeter was decent. I do have that.
It's important.
Jeter was okay. He was better. He was okay. I'm not gonna say he's better. So, because I did this, I wrote this down here. Jeter in 2020, because I wanted to know what Notre Dame was in 2024, because Ohio State in 2024 I threw up in here as well. Notre Dame was 15 of 27 in 2024 in field goals. 56%. That is the same percentage as last year. Now, we kicked way more field goals in 2024 than we did in 2025. I'm not really sure why, but it's literally 3 times more in 2024. Or 3 times less in 2025, depending on how you want to put that. But here's where I wanted to go with this. I wanted to look at like the scenarios. Like, all right, you're either going for it on fourth down, whether it's a first down or a touchdown, it doesn't matter. You're either going for it, you're kicking a field goal, or you're punting. So there's three things that happen. All right, one, you're under center, one, you're in field goal position with your special teams, and one, you're in punt formation on your special teams. Okay. Grant, there's fake punts in there, and you know that's a function of then you quote go for it as far as the stats go. But regardless, last year, if you add up the number of times Notre Dame went for it on fourth down, which is 31 times, number of times we kicked field goals, which is 9 times, and number of times we punted was 25 times. It's a sum of 60. 60 events where it was a fourth down where we did something. Okay. IU, if you do the same math, okay, they had 18 fourth down attempts, 21 field goal attempts, and 43 punts for a sum of 82. I'll jump back to 2024 Ohio State, 28 fourth down attempts, 17 field goal attempts, and 49 punts for a sum of 94. Notre Dame in 2024, 30 fourth down attempts, 27 field goal attempts, and 50 punts for a sum of 105. So if you just want to compare 2024 Notre Dame, 107 fourth down experiences, can I put it that way? 107 fourth down scenarios. We had 60 last year. 60. Now, what I didn't do, and I'm going to pull this up live here. I want to know where Notre Dame was on third down conversion last year versus 2024. It's not the greatest statistic, but it is what it is. All right, here's the deal. It's significantly better last year, to the point that it's scratching the surface of national champion average. Third down percentage, granted, we had 107 fourth down events, and we were 41.3% conversion, 61st in the country in third down conversion. Last year, 13th in the country in third down conversion, 48.2% in third down conversion. And that's probably why we're limiting ourselves to the number of fourth down scenarios we even experience. So I wanted to understand, like, well, like all this stuff, like Mac, your points are valid. I'm gonna come back to give you credit where it's due. But I wanted to understand just the total number of events. We had significantly less last year than we did in 2024. And maybe that's a function because we were destroying teams at the end of the season, right? How many times did we punt, in that Syracuse game, the Stanford game? I don't even know, right? Why bother looking at it? Look at
there were games where they didn't punt. There were legitimate games where they didn't punt.
That's my point, right? Like,
I think there were 2 or 3.
If you're scoring, if you're moving the chains, every first, second, third down, whatever.
But I mean, okay, you could do that against BC and Pitt, and I think BC was one of them.
Yeah, Syracuse was trash, right?
Syracuse, I'm just, yeah. But when you play like Texas and A&M and Miami,
okay,
you can't have negative plays.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
exactly. And it would be interesting to break this down further of, okay, where are you in, quote, good games or against tough opponents, right? I think that's very valid. Like, football is all about creating an edge in the moment, right? Whether it's a special teams play, whether it's a conversion on fourth down or what have you, right? If you have an edge in those fourth down scenarios, whether it's punting, whether it's conversion, whether it's field goals, what have you. But I would argue that the best case scenario is to just don't even be in a fourth down. All right. if your offense is clicking and you're converting on third down, 60, 50% of the time, shit,
Or get under center when you do go for it.
Oh,
That was
stop.
a
Yeah.
that was a huge. Hey, you know what, Joe? You were at the game you were at the Boise game, and they got stopped in fourth and less than a yard 3 times in that game. And
I'm trying to wipe those
and that's now they still won.
memories.
They still won again. They still beat Boise down, sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, you gave up point. You had opportunity to score in 3 different drives, and you left about 21 points on the board, or let's say 9 points on the board, whatever you want to say, because you refused to get under center. I
Right.
think that their conversion rate would have been a lot higher just by doing that.
Interesting.
And here's one other point I want to say, because look, I grew up, my first time I really could evaluate football was Jim Harbaugh when he was at the 49ers, right?
Oh, here we go.
And he didn't have a dynamic offense, so he did play very conservative, if that makes sense. And one thing and so, because, he had Patrick Willis and Bowman, so he relied on that. I think one thing that Freeman might have been doing last year is using too much analytics and not enough feel for the game. Because
Interesting.
analytics a lot of time will say, go for it on fourth down. It's analytically, statistically, it's better if you do that. Where, for example, a Jim Harbaugh always has that idea. It's early. It's the first quarter. Get your points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get your points on the board. Get some momentum, or our defense is really killing it today. Let's flip the field. They're having trouble moving the ball, and so that's where. And it's the same thing in baseball, where analytics aren't always where you see the teams that have the most success can do both, have a feel for the game, feel for the bullpen or whatever, and can also use analytics but not rely too much. So I wonder if analytics was playing too much of a part last year. I don't know. I'm not on the sideline, but I do know. But I do think that I think you need to have a combination of feel of the game, and yes, analytics is a tool, but it's not the end all be all, if that makes sense.
Sure. No,
That's a theory.
I think you're making great points here. Wayne here, Wayne Smith. I see you, Wayne, there in the chat here. He says in the YouTube chat here, need running backs to produce to take pressure off the air game. Is that a function you think, Mac? This is a question back to you, Mac. Do you think that's a function of going under center, or is that a function of a strong running game? Like, so we don't end up in a third and long? Like, how would you respond to Wayne's comment there about need running backs to produce to take pressure off the air game?
Well, I mean, I thought your running backs produced pretty well. I mean, you had 2 first-round picks. Let's look at the USC game. You got 2 guys over 150 yards. I do know that in the Miami game, I questioned the play calling. You came out passing with a freshman quarterback, and you didn't. And what was it? Love had 3 touches at halftime. So how can you get into a rhythm when you got a Heisman Trophy finalist there?
Yeah.
I mean, and then the second game you lost, you put up 45.
I mean, he wasn't
points.
a finalist in game 1. But
I mean, but
that was a function of the combination.
But people knew that he was gonna. People knew he was gonna be an NFL player.
Fair. Yeah, exactly. People know he's gonna make a splash.
And he was your best player on offense.
Well, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, going and to only in a rain game.
Can it be as simple as you have to feature your best players? Let's just put it that way.
And in a rain game, to have him only have 3 touches.
Was it raining?
Yeah, remember it was raining, and it was Carr's first game. Yeah, it was almost like they just had a hurricane or whatnot.
Oh my god!
And it
I
was
did not remember this.
it was raining, and they kept throwing the ball, and that was and that's another thing is you want to establish the run to settle like the guy said, to settle them down. But I don't blame the fourth down, like the fourth down. The reason you get under center, and not a lot of people know this, is because the other team is shooting gaps. The defensive line is going to shoot the gaps. So if you take the ball in the backfield, you might as well start the line of scrimmage 3 yards backwards. And so, but if you get under center, you can have your running back meet the quarterback at the line of scrimmage, and as they're shooting gaps. So that's kind of the problem. That's just, I mean, that's Pee Wee football, Joe. I mean, I'm sure you were taught that when we were 11, 10, 12. I mean, it's basic. It is basic.
Personally, I played flag football when, fourth grade, but whatever,
But that is a very basic understanding. And I asked Sean. You remember I told you I call in. We have the local, radio show.
Yep.
And I asked Grant Napier. I said, I don't know why are these teams, because it's not just Notre Dame, refusing to get under center, for in fourth and short yardage. And Sean Salisbury, former ESPN analysis, believes that it's a comfort that if you watch the high schools nowadays, a lot of the times these quarterbacks are in the backfield and they try to accommodate to what's comfortable with a lot of the times these kids coming out of high school don't have much experience playing in that style. Plus their offense is already single back shotgun formation.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So the thought is, what if they fumble?
Let me address that.
Miss snap.
I want to talk about that because I've watched some of my old high school, Damien High School in Laverne, California. We have, I'm watching the games and I'm like, why the fuck are we always in shotgun? Right. Like that was unheard of. Like we were never in shotgun when I was a student. Right. And we had Ian Johnson on the team, granted. Right. But we had some good receivers, etc. Like we are always in shotgun, and I'm like, just get under center. It's a short down situation. If you want to be in shotgun, because you want to be creative or whatever, fine. But it's just like, why is that not, 50%, even 30% of the plays you're putting out there? That just irritates me.
So it's I guess it's something that's becoming dated.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's what according to Sean Salisbury, he said all these players, they don't have a lot of experience doing that.
That's weird.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I know it's something that you can work on, But yeah, that's the reasoning I got. He says he doesn't like it. He doesn't understand it. That it's much more efficient to get under center, but that's the reasoning he gave.
I mean, if I just think in terms of where the ball physically is and speed and quickness and the whole point of football,
momentum to the line,
right?
Like your running back has no momentum when he's taking it that
momentum, but also just like I was thinking more in terms of time, like seconds on the clock, like how much time from the snap to, like, football is all about advancing the ball beyond the line of scrimmage from the offensive standpoint, right? And so my problem is, like, when you're not under center, the balls go back farther back, you're handing it off, you're just kind of like, here, you take it, like versus when you're under center, it's you're standing there and the quarterback literally just does a pivot on one foot and the ball doesn't move nearly as far. And to your point, Mac, you've got the momentum of the running back or the fullback. It doesn't matter. They're right there. They're in full stride sprint, right off the snap count, and they're taking it in their belly and they're up the guard's ass. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like Like, that's why I love watching these old timey Notre Dame or just any. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be Nebraska. I don't care.
You know what, Joe? Joe, you know what you should watch? I watched 2 weeks ago. I watched the 49ers versus the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. And you see
Which year?
pro formation.
Which year?
Let's see. Roger Craig fumbles in 92. So 91.
Okay, that's Joe
No,
Montana.
Joe Montana.
No, that's Montana.
So you watch them. They have two running backs in pro formation with Craig and Rathman. They run I formation with Rathman. Rathman in the first
Talk
half
dirty
had
to
60
me.
yards.
I formation. Let's go.
I mean, I'm like, because remember when I said in before? Well, you probably don't, but one thing I thought Notre Dame was going to do in August of 2025, I thought, you know what we might see. What if Denbrock is so bright, he might get creative. He might run like a pro formation with two backs in the backfield.
Put Price and Love on the field at the same time. Did we
Absolutely.
ever see that?
Never. And you know
Such
what? The Niners,
bullshit. They both got
Bill
drafted,
Walsh,
but like, fuck, like here they are. You know,
Bill
like,
Walsh did that with Rathman and Roger Craig. And Rathman's a borderline Hall of Famer, and Roger Craig is now a Hall of Famer. I mean, so if you watch that game, it's there's Rathman over the middle, there's Craig over the middle, they're running those. What are those? What are those routes where you run out and then you cut in? You read it. The linebacker.
Mac, you can't see this. So we got the Wikipedia article up for the NFL draft, right? We got, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, both of them drafted, as you pointed out, two running backs, both from Notre Dame, both drafted in the first round, number 3 overall, number 32 overall, to the world champion Seahawks, right? The doc is happy about that. Point being, it's like you got J Love looking smiling, coy, whatever. The photo Wikipedia has for Jadarian Price is literally his number in his ass. It's like, what the fuck? Like, someone do better here. Okay, come on. Wikipedia. Seattle people, you're disappointing me. Come on. Someone needs to do better about that, right? Yeah, we got all this NIL money. Can their Wikipedia pages at least be up to snuff? Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
But I mean, like, think about it. Think about how many you could have had Price on a linebacker, right? With a linebacker on him. And you could have play action to Love. I mean, there's so much stuff that they could have done. And they didn't do that. And I think that was another problem is I thought the playbook wasn't as creative as it could have been. You know? What's that route? And you can help me because I don't know the names of the routes. But where...
Describe it.
Okay, so Christian McCaffrey does this all the time, where he'll come out around the line and he sees that the linebacker is going to continue to their left or to the right outside and take the outside, then he cuts in and kind of runs a slant. Or if the linebacker stays over the middle, then he continues to run a wheel. What is that? Where it's like
that's a very particular read on the offense, and I mean, as a high school receiver, we were not that complicated, but like that's really difficult because now both your quarterback and your receiver, i.e., this person from coming out of the backfield, both have to make that read simultaneously and both get it right. So at the high school level, you tend to not do that. At the pro level, yeah, maybe, right? But that's
you would think.
Let me put it this way: at the pro level, that's probably not read 1. Okay, that's more like, okay, I'm looking at read 1, read 2, and then this guy coming out of the backfield, whether it's the wheel or the slant. Most likely what the quarterback is doing in his progressions is, as he's reading the defense and what they're doing, he's keying in and knows, okay, I'm going to look at this outside linebacker to see what he's doing, because then I know my guy is going to either go here or here, right, based off of what that linebacker is doing. And so there's some trust there with your receiver, because then he's going to go, oh, you went inside? That means my guy's outside. If you're not there, then I'm just chucking it to a cheerleader.
But but here's my point to that is imagine if Price and Love are on the same on the field at the same time and you ran an RPO like that. You know what I mean? Imagine just doing I never even saw that.
Personally like triple option, but I don't know.
But you get what I'm trying to say. Like Carr's not going to run the option.
No, and nor do I want him to. But
you get my point. You could have been, the playbook could have been a lot more creative, if that makes sense. It did towards the end, but I think against I don't know, that was my take on
at the end of the day, what matters, number one, we're winning games. Two, we're putting up a fuck ton of points, especially in those last two games. And it's I don't want to say it didn't matter, even though that's the Metallica song essentially we ran with at the end of last season of the show. But the point I'm making is you're not wrong, Mac. It's just it's all at this point water under the bridge. So the point is,
I understand.
What are the lessons learned? Now, I will say this: the complexion of this team and what we're seeing in the spring game is leaning towards that we're going to have a stronger receiving core. Okay, Devin Fitzgerald. Let's take him, right? Freshman, right? Looks like a strong contributor. Son of Larry Fitzgerald. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good thing, right? We had some guys with some good grabs. And people looking fine.
Well, can I say one thing, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm happy that, because let's be honest, I do think their receiving core was a little weak last year. So this is good. I hope that Denbrock doesn't treat Carr like he's Peyton Manning and have him throw 40 times, because let's not forget what Notre Dame's identity is. We produced Kyren Williams. You look at, we produced Price. Jeremiah Love. and then think of the offensive line we produce. Mike McGlinchey, Joe Alt.
Yeah. Well, sure. And here,
all these players
I keep track of this.
We're a running program.
Yeah, run percentage. Notre Dame, national champions run the ball 55.8% of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 57% of the time.
Perfect.
The greatest ever was the 33 trucking Josh Adams year of 61%. There's also Wimbush has a lot to do with that, right? So if you actually took, take Josh Adams and his number of carries, right, and then subtract out like I'm sure this percentage would be a lot different in 2017 if you took Wimbush out. But point being, 57% is the highest it's been since 2022 in the Freeman years.
Yeah,
right?
and it doesn't have to be 57, but I'm just saying, let's not forget that's still the bread and butter for Notre Dame football.
Agreed, and I'm the RTDB guy kind of guy. Where's Natalie when I need her? But but the point is, I do think running the football it's a less risk averse way of running your offense, and it's effective, right? Especially the message we've just sent out to recruits, young men from high school thinking about where they're going to go with their career, guys who can run the football and God has blessed with that ability. And it's why don't you come to Notre Dame? Because check this out. The first two running backs in the draft this year both came from the University of Notre Dame. And by the way, both of them played simultaneously. To me, that is the greatest success story of coaching and sharing of time, etc. Selflessness, team first over individual. And look at the result. These guys both go in the first round. Jay Love goes third overall. He's going to be set for life with money, assuming he is responsible with it, which he will be. And then you got Price, who gets drafted. He goes to the Seahawks, the world champion Seahawks. Like, man, talk about a great situation for both men
And
to go.
Joe, to complement that, if I'm bringing in a running back, I'm telling them, look at how many offensive linemen we produced in the NFL. I mean, 2 years ago, the 40, or was it 3 years ago, 49ers had two Notre Dame, Aaron Banks and Mike McGlinchey starting.
Right.
You know, on the same team. Go on everyone's roster, and you'll see a Notre Dame offensive lineman. And
Right.
that's another reason, you know, and that's another, again, recruiting. Offensive linemen love to block for great runners.
Yeah.
So, it all goes hand in hand.
Billy Sherroth was taken in the 5th round, goes to the Buccaneers, right? So a guard, right? So yeah, again, another offensive lineman for Notre Dame. You could throw tight ends in there. Eli Reardon goes to the Patriots. Okay. Yeah, it's not, and let's give some credit to Malachi Fields, who went in the 3rd round to the Giants as a receiver, and Gabriel Rubio, who went in the 6th round. Our D tackle went to the Steelers. So six young men going to the NFL for Notre Dame, which is interesting, because then that means that there's a ton of talent that's still left at Notre Dame,
Right. Absolutely.
to contribute this season in college. It's fantastic.
Yes. Can I tell you why? And this is according to Manti Te'o.
Okay.
Why Notre Dame is so good, is producing so many offensive line this century. And he said he gives credit to when they went up against Alabama in the national championship game. And he said, we were too small. They were just way bigger than us. We got out muscled. We lost in the pits. We were outmanned. And he just basically said Brian Kelly wasn't going to have that happen, so he made more emphasis on the line. And so from that point on, I think Notre Dame has kind of taken that tradition of we're going to win in the pits, no matter what. That's because in order for us to go play Alabama, we have to win in the pits because they're so much bigger,
Well, sure, and like,
stronger than us.
And not to give Kelly
and
too
that's
much credit,
what Manti Te'o said.
But it's like Weiss basically recruited 7-on-7 players, right? You know,
Correct.
like I look back at the Weiss era. You know, I think of Golden Tate. You know, I think of Jimmy Clausen. You know, Michael Floyd.
And he never won.
Right, exactly, and it's like
because you went in the pits.
Well, and this guy was an offensive coordinator basically, and so it's like, all right, let's get some talented, star guys in here. And that's not to say he didn't recruit other guys, but
he brought in Michael Floyd, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Michael Floyd,
like you need those kind of talented guys, and so it's like if you take some of the star athletes that Clausen was throwing to, you've got a really good football team there, right? So, but anyway, all right, we talked about a little bit of the draft.
I had something.
We talked about all 6 guys we had.
Joe, I did have something I wanted to say about the draft, and whenever you have time.
No, go ahead. I think this is an appropriate time.
Okay, so I wanted to quote, and this is just about the way college football has changed everything, the way how its evolution. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to quote, this is John Lynch at his pregame presser, or his pre-draft press conference. And he was asked, how has NIL...
Who?
John Lynch, the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
Former safety from Stanford. Safety, played Hall of Famer, played for won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Do you recall? Former Fox analyst.
Continue.
Okay, so he was asked how has NIL and whatnot changed things, and he says, well, first of all, we're seeing guys at 25 be drafted. And he said, second, our A players have gone down, meaning they grade certain players. As he said, last year we felt that there were 32 A players. He said this year we had about 18 A players. Okay. Meaning he suggested that because of NIL, that a lot of players are willing to stay in college football instead of leaving.
Sure, there's a ton of money in college sports now.
Instead of leaving,
I mean, there actually always has. It's just now it's a little more public with how that money is being dispersed.
Well, there's more money in staying and trying to be a second rounder than going and being a fourth rounder.
Well,
but that's also
I'm glad you brought that up because
we're seeing guys who are projected to be fourth rounders go into the transfer portal to get the opportunity to be a second round, like a Fernando Mendoza. If he stays with Cal, he's maybe a fourth, fifth round draft pick. He transferred to Indiana, and now he's first overall.
Well, that's my point. A won the Heisman and B won the national championship, so that does not suck. But
that doesn't happen at Cal because he doesn't have the support.
Well, sure, because they don't have Cignetti, right?
Correct.
Like Cignetti is a good coach. Anyone who says he's not, is
$40 million
smoking weed.
Well, nor does Cal spend $40 million on players.
Okay, but here's the deal.
Just saying.
Here's the point I want to make, and I'm very, very curious of what Indiana does this year. Okay, and I'll come back to that. And it's not me throwing rocks. It's just kind of more like things that make you go, huh. Clearly, Fernando Mendoza goes first overall. Respect. 8 men from IU. That's where they played last year. They go in the draft, right, from rounds 1 through 7, right? 8 guys. Notre Dame had 6, okay? And then if you couple it over to, let's go to the recruiting here. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Let's do, that's not going to work. Shit. Bear with me. Let's just reset the sucker. Indiana. Where the hell is Indiana? So in 2026, this year, Notre Dame's 5th overall. So it's one of the best it's been in years. Indiana is 29. 0 5 stars, 7 4 stars, 15 3 stars. Okay. So IU football, okay, though again, they won the title, 24/7 Sports composite is 29. Okay. Which again, and we talked about this previous on shows last season. What makes IU so interesting is the fact that their talent from recruiting and transfers, etc., is not the greatest. Yet they still win and they beat the snot out of people. And to me, that's coaching. Okay, you got a group of seniors, got guys that are very motivated, willing to listen to what coach is telling you. Your coach actually has shit in line, and they say, okay, coach, and we're going to go execute, right? So with that, IU, though, is doing better in recruiting. It's certainly not to where Notre Dame is, obviously, but we'll see. And they sent more of their good players to the NFL than Notre Dame did. So I'm very curious to see where IU ends up this season, 2026, how they perform relative to how they have, last year, for example. All right.
Didn't they spend the most in NIL money also last year?
That's a good question. Maybe Ryan Fervell knows the answer to that. I don't know.
I know Ohio is always a big spender.
Ohio State's got deep pockets, and they sent 10 guys to the draft or something ungodly and unholy like that. I don't know.
I do know, and I want last thing, and you can move on. I always criticize Notre Dame for not opening their pocketbook. They did this year, and I want to commend them for finally understanding that they need to open. I'm very happy that they did.
What they do differently this year than last year?
I think it was up. They upped it $10 or $15 million. I think I read something like that.
What is up 10, 15?
Meaning the amount of money Freeman was able to spend on paying players. I believe it was 10. I think I read something that said that they upped it $10 or $15 million.
You're reading different articles than I am, clearly. I'm just more like, Grant, I have a bias, right? I went there. I actually do think you should go there for school, but anyway, but no, I'm also not an idiot to say that. Look, I'd be a fool to say that these guys are not going to Notre Dame because of their athletic ability. That is why they're going there, especially from the football standpoint. So don't get me wrong, but they still also have to go to class, live in the dorms, whatever.
Absolutely. But I mean, it helps, I mean, let's look at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt had a really successful season, and that's a very good academic school. So you are competing with schools, if that makes sense.
I guess,
where you still have to go to school.
Yeah, but what's his face from Vandy, who was a Heisman finalist, didn't even get drafted. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to kick him off.
They had a good year. They still had a good year, though.
They
just saying.
They did, and we love Clark Lee, right? I like Clark Lee.
Only academic school I could think of that's doing well. Where you might have to. It was off the top of my head.
Duke's doing all right too.
That's a good.
I would, as far as academic, Division I footballs, I'd throw obviously Notre Dame, Stanford, Duke, Northwestern, Vandy. That's fair. Yeah. Fair enough. Ryan, I see you there. Come off mute, man.
How you doing, man? It's been a minute.
It's been a handful of minutes. Welcome to episode 2 of season 7 of the Fighting Irish Faithful show. Ryan, floor is yours. Where do you want to go? Recruiting, draft, spring game. We were talking about kicking. It's all you want.
Yeah, so I guess we could touch on the spring game really quick. I kind of took my medicine last year from doing the overreaction from the spring game. What did we hear all of last year around this time? We heard how great Carson Hobbs was and how he was the next Ben Morrison, and he was going to take that next step. And we saw how that played out against Miami, and then again against Texas A&M. Was not anywhere close to what he was hyped up to be all spring. If you remember, I believe he had 2 picks against Carr in one practice that the Notre Dame social media team put out there. And of course, everybody at the same time last year, I'm sure you remember, it's Minchie's team. Minchie's going to be quarterback. CJ Carr looked terrible. He's throwing picks. That's not good. Let's set the alarm off.
Respect to Minchie. He's at Kentucky. I actually wish him the best while he's down there in the Bluegrass State. But it's come on, no.
It's like you gotta have context, right? And I get it, and I totally understand why people they freak out because again, you go 3 months with in between the end of the season typically to when the spring happens, and that's the first time you get to watch on live television or in person what this Notre Dame football team is going to look like. So I get it. We've all been starving for football. We finally get it, and we start overanalyzing everything.
Sure.
And,
I read an article today by One Foot Down, and they're just like, okay, and you could totally tell it's just thick with sarcasm because the article is about okay, we're gonna talk about this, but we don't know what to take from this because it's not really the real team and it's a glorified practice.
Yeah, what is it? Allen Iverson used to say, we're talking about practice.
Oh
That's what we're
God,
talking
and,
about?
and you know I've had that going. Fuck, I've been playing that on and off tonight, and son of a bitch. Here we go.
Talking about practice. We talking about practice. We talking about practice, man.
Yeah. So that's the that's the happiness that is the spring game. It is practice. You know, we went, you know, offense versus defense. You know, defense gets special points for, you know, you know, forcing a punt or whatever. And yeah, it's to me like spring coverage is so over covered and so underwhelming, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying it's trash. I'm happy to watch it. We clearly watched it. I mean, I smoked a pork shoulder, you know, prior to the game because we were excited to watch the spring game. Like, so I'm part of the problem per se. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, when they start watching it, it's like, man, this is so low key compared to a real game, and as it should be, right?
Yeah. And I hate, like, I get it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but it just drives me up the wall when you get those negative Nancy's in the fan base that, oh my God, CJ Carr didn't look like a first round pick in the spring game.
Oh, stop.
When he's throwing, you can tell he's just being aggressive. You watch his body language. I was there in person. You can
Okay.
just tell he's loose. You could tell he was just kind of like, you know, like, hey.
Well, he
it's a
knows
spring
he's not
game.
going to get sacked, right? He doesn't have some, you know, 290-pound lineman running at his face like a mad truck to eat his lunch. You know, like,
Yeah, and that was the pass he had that should have been a touchdown. Beautiful ball, by the way. I believe it was I want to say it was to Micah. And
okay.
just a great play by Jaden Sanders to knock the ball out. Like that Micah Gilbert probably should have caught that ball. That's not on CJ. That was a great ball. Now, was he inconsistent on the day? Yeah. But again, it's a spring game. He realizes there's no pressure on him this year.
I hope you're
quarterback
using
competition.
game in quotes when you say game.
Yes. Yeah, game in quotes.
Because
yeah.
I mean,
Talking
seriously.
about practice, man. We talking about practice.
So, I mean that's
And
what we're talking about.
we heard what he did last weekend for the Jersey scrimmage, which again, from everybody you listen to, all the beat writers, everything, that is what the coaching staff and the players care about the most when it comes to spring ball.
Yeah.
Is that scrimmage. And every report is he literally torched our defense to shreds.
Yeah.
And if he's doing that, then I'm pretty fine with it. And to the people that, like I said, have been freaking out about it, I'm like, if you want to calm yourself down, go watch the Miami game. Go watch the A&M game. Did he have his moments in those games? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But go back and watch those games because guess what? If we don't have CJ Carr as our quarterback in those games, we're not even in those games.
Good luck. Right. Because the defense was not helping us at that moment in that season. Agreed.
Like, and there was some dude I saw on a clip, and he said CJ Carr doesn't have ice in his veins, and I'm like, you're either a top tier rage baiter, or you just didn't watch any football last year from Notre Dame.
Right. Maybe he's an Angeli homer, right, or one of those you know, Minchie guys. I don't know. And nothing against Minchie. We love the guy, right? We wish him the best, but it's like. People were like, I want Minchie. I'm on. What about Kenny? Wasn't there something over the summer like I want Kenny?
Yeah.
And again,
There were people in our fan base last year that were rooting for Carr to fail because of that. And I'm like, that's so weird. That is so weird to do as a fan.
Why? Like I'm not saying like, look, if you have a legit argument, like. Let me go back to 2014. We were extremely critical of Riley Leonard, like almost to the point where we're looking like idiots in hindsight because we're like, well, we don't get to that title game and we don't succeed in the title or get up to that point in the season without Riley Leonard. Okay, facts. But earlier in the season, we were looking at the data that was before us, and we were the biggest haters on planet Earth with respect to what was happening in the passing game. And we were flat out, this is not going to get it done. This is not what championship football looks like. And I've got two great running backs in Love and Price. I don't need you, the quarterback, to be doing that. Now,
Yep.
And then we're like, well, maybe we can do it. We don't have to be the greatest, the bee's knees in passing. We can just have a good run game, and we can have a good defense, and the quarterback just can't fuck things up like Alabama of 2009 or something like that, for example, or even Michigan of 2023, right? There are things we potentially could emulate, and then later in that season, we proved that wrong too. So it's like, so we were the biggest haters on this show with respect to how we were doing from the quarterback position. Fast forward to the present. Look, it's a spring game. It's a practice.
Practice. We're talking about practice, man.
So like, that's all we can take from it. And I'm not gonna bet anything on the performance of CJ Carr based off what we saw on Saturday.
And I'm also, like I said, I'm of the mindset now, because I took my medicine last year because I was on the Carson Hobbs hype train too, with everybody else. And so I took my medicine last year, and I've just, you know what? I don't care if a guy has 4 touchdowns in the spring practice that's televised. I'm not gonna. I don't care if a guy throws 4 picks in the spring practice that's televised.
I don't know.
You know
I
what?
may care if he throws 4 picks, but
Because I'm of the mindset, hey, especially when it comes to CJ, we have a whole season's body of work on him. And from that whole season's body of work, people are already talking about him as a potential first-round draft pick next year.
oh my gosh,
to me-
like you're seeing, people are
Yeah.
seeing these articles. They're seeing things where like best quarterback in college football going into the season, and they're mentioning Carr. We said this early in the show. People who saw the spring game probably heard this. People who are savvy with the program know this. This is the first time in Marcus Freeman's tenure that his starting quarterback from the previous season is returning. Carr is the first guy who's ever done that, right? I said 2 years ago that season 5 of Freeman with Carr under season 2, which I assumed was going to happen, right, in 2025. Now 2026, season 2 of Carr was going to be a Notre Dame national championship contending program, just based off of the experience of the head coach, where the roster was filling out, Freeman getting his guys in, and just how things balance. And then the quarterback is you have to have a decent quarterback, and Carr was that person. And when he's in season 2, he's gonna thrive. And so I fully believe that. And then let's put it another way. Let's fast forward a little bit. Look at the schedule. It is so weak this year. There's really only like 3 teams that are good. It's like Miami, BYU, who's a late arrival, quite frankly, and SMU. That's pretty much it. Michigan State, maybe. Wisconsin, we don't know. They've had some struggles there with Fickle. Point being, in the past, Sparty and the Badgers have been decent, right? But in general, it's really, if you take a recency bias of how teams have performed recently, clearly Miami, clearly BYU, they went to the Pop-Tarts Bowl, respect. Dave Portnoy was all over their nuts. And then you have SMU, who is the spoiler, right? And they actually were in the playoffs 2 years ago. So there's 3 teams that are tough on the schedule ish, and I intend to be at one of them, the Miami game. So
I think I'm gonna hold judgment on Carr, right? And I think this is my only question for Carr. I think we saw flashes of greatness last year. We bring up the A&M game and the Miami game when things were high pressure in his first 2 starts. I think he played, but for being a freshman in your first 2 starts against 2 playoff teams, I think he played pretty damn good.
Amen.
But I think going into this year, like you've heard Freeman and you've heard Denbrock talk about it, it's now going from being a guy that's in the passenger seat on the bus to being the bus driver this year.
Amen.
Because there is no Jeremiah Love. There is no Jadarian Price. We went out and got you 2 explosive receivers in the portal in Quincy Porter and Mylan Graham.
Amen.
This is probably the best receiver room Notre Dame has had since Golden Tate and Michael Floyd were on the same roster.
Ooh. Oh, 2009 Clausen. We were talking about that earlier. I would go back to 2019 just because that was a very productive year. But
Yeah.
But 2019, 2009, I'm with you. Both years are great.
And I think we'll figure out. I think we will figure out what Carr is. Is he just a great quarterback or is he elite? And I think we'll figure that out on November 7th when Miami comes to town, because we know. I hate Miami as much as the next guy, but we know how good Darian Mensah is. We know firsthand from last season how explosive Malachi Toney and that offense is. And I think they're only going to get better this year offensively. I think it's going to be a duel in that game, and I'm going to be there.
I think we'll be better defensively this year, though.
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to be better offensively, but we're going to be better defensively. And I think the key is going to be how much improved is our offense and defensive line, and can Carr, because again, Miami got him last year with training wheels on. Well, the training wheels are off this year.
Yep.
So I think
it's a home
we're going to see what that
game.
looks
Hopefully it snows, right? Probably not.
Yep.
But the it's you're 100% right. And what's kind of nice-ish about Miami versus, like, here's what I hope. I hope Miami's undefeated, Notre Dame's undefeated, because that is the one game I intend to go to for the regular season. Let me put it another way. Like, I may go to the Purdue game just because it's so close and it's at Ross-Ade. But point being, Miami is the one game I desire to go to in the regular season. And I hope to be there. And I hope both us and Miami are undefeated going into it. I think that would be great. I think it would be great for college football. Look, USC is a bunch of pussies. They don't want to play us anymore, because they're bitches, whatever you want to say. Fine, let's just play Miami every year. Let's play Michigan every year, right? Let's play Boston College every year. Whatever. There's tons of teams we have a history with that we don't like that we can play. I would love to put SC back on the schedule because I fucking hate that team. But you know what? If they're gonna wuss out on us, then fine. Okay, we'll next man in, next opponent in, and we'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere, because we're the University of Notre Dame, and we never have backed down about playing any opponent anywhere in the United States of America.
We even played teams in Tokyo.
We did play a team in Tokyo. Fact. Let's go, Jimmy Joe. What's up?
Hello, how are you?
Jimmy Joe, namaste. We haven't heard from you in forever.
Oh, I know. I've been so busy. I was watching the gold, green gold game.
Blue gold game.
The blue gold game. And you're talking about our quarterback. And I'm thinking, what percentage of time is the quarterback handing the ball to the running back?
I mean, I don't have the stats broken down of the spring game. I was actually looking for that on the internet. It was very unsuccessful.
Well, I mean, in general, I think that we have to know that our secret, one of our secrets for success is our running back. We're so sad because Love is gone and these people leave. Who do we have, to take their place? Because that's going to be a secret too. I mean, that's going to be to our success.
That's a good point. I mean, Aeneas Williams has been good. We'll pull this up here on the YouTube channel here. Running backs. All right. So Aeneas Williams looked pretty good. Kendron Young. I don't have touches and yards and touchdowns and all this stuff for these guys, but we know Aeneas Williams is most likely going to be RB1. If you want to really get a glimpse of his abilities, go jump to the Penn State game, the national semifinalist game from 2014, where he succeeded and performed very well. So he's gonna, I think, be running back number 1. And as far as how Notre Dame has performed with respect to running the football, I mean, we ran the ball 57% of the time last year. We ran the ball 56 and 61%. Every single year that Marcus Freeman has been our head coach, he has run the football more than what national champion average is, which makes me happy. You know, that 55 to 60% of the time run percentage from a offensive play selection standpoint is exactly where I think this football team needs to be. And number 2, where I think Notre Dame as a fan base can live. Because quite frankly, I mean, look at the draft, right? Price, Love, both go in the first round. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And if we turn into running back just like we were tight end offensive line right? Talk dirty to me. Let's get the running back room running well and fill the pipeline and run the damn football. Let's go.
Well, I think that the opponents think, oh, good, Notre Dame doesn't have a good running back anymore because Love and Price are gone. Oh, no, we have a good arm in C.J. Carr. I think he will do a very good job downfield.
Yeah, he's a smooth operator. I think we've Ryan was talking about this earlier about how we've got some good running backs, wide receivers, transfers from Ohio State, etc., that have come in. I think we're filling the roster out to give CJ Carr some weapons, some young men who can get into space and targets down the field for him to throw to. It's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Well, I think we have a lot of depth, and that's good.
It is, and I think that look, I'm very optimistic about the season. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not muted about the success of this team. When I look at the roster, who we have, who's coming back, I know we lost our 2 top running backs. I'm with you guys, but if I isolate that and just look at what Aeneas Williams has produced and shown me on film, quite frankly, and the recruits we have coming in, the number of stacked running backs that have come into this program. They don't have touches on the play chart or whatever play sheet, but I do think they have the tools and the talents to live up to expectations to make our football team successful.
But
let's go.
Having said all that, I have to say that when all things being equal, we have to really sharpen up special teams.
Yeah.
I want to not worry about kickers. I do not want to worry about that. Do not worry about that.
Now, Jimmy Joe, did you watch the end of the spring game?
Yes, I did.
All right, what did you think of the kick by Spencer Prath at the end, where the whole team was like gauntleting him and yelling stuff?
Oh, he was unfazed.
He was unfazed. Former Purdue kicker, now Notre Dame kicker, Spencer Prath from Brownsburg, Indiana, northwest of Indianapolis, much closer to Purdue than certainly my house, and closer to Notre Dame. But Spencer here hits the kick at the end of the game to take the what was it, the blue team, the gold team? I don't even know who got credit with the points at the end, but is 40 plus yards out that he hits the field goal. And yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that makes you feel good about where Notre Dame is going. And to Mac's point, we were talking about kicking earlier. We were 56% on field goals last year. If this guy can be better, great. IU, for perspective, IU, your national champions, were 96% in field goal kicking last season. And Ohio State, the team we lost to in the title game, was over 70% in field goal kicking. Wait. I wrote it weird. I'm assuming that's 76%. 76% in field goal kicking. And we were 56% in 2025. We were also 56% in 2024. So if we are in that 70, and I do not know what the national champions over the last 10 years have been in field goal kicking. So that may be an off-season experiment exercise where we investigate field goal kicking of national champions over the last 10 years. We'll see if it's statistically significant. Point being,
well,
we got a kicker. We got a good kicker. Let's kick this off.
We have a special weapon, and that was we have Our Lady and Mother of Jesus, and she will not let us down, and we will prevail, and we will beat all those people, especially Purdue.
Yeah, it's funny. It was like a couple months ago. I had a coworker who's a Purdue grad, he's got season tickets to the football team. He came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want my tickets to the Notre Dame Purdue game?" I'm like, "Oh, you're not gonna go?" And he had a legit conflict, but I'm like, so I can't. I'm interested, but I can't commit to that. But yeah, I think Notre Dame will walk the floor with Purdue again. And I enjoyed my time at Ross-Ade Stadium, but we'll see.
Well, I enjoy the podcast. I certainly like your program. I'm sorry that I have been away, but I am so glad to be here. And namaste to you. And the missus says goodbye to you. Good night.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy Joe. Appreciate you and the Mrs. Jimmy Joe, for jumping on the podcast by way of India. Jimmy, it's Joe. Where's your Twitter handle here? Jimmy_Joe24 on the X. Really appreciate you. Everyone give him a follow. If you're not following Jimmy Joe, you're wrong.
Okay, namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. That's pretty much it. The last piece I wanted to talk about was a little bit of recruiting. We don't have a recruiting scout on. Irish JTL, not sure what's going on there, but hey, it's the off season. It is what it is, and it's Tuesday in April. Jaden Gamble, safety, commits over the weekend. He's from St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida, very well-known high school. He's a 4-star recruit, and it's the type of school that produces players like Joey Bosa. All right. So legit place. He's the 175th nationally ranked player, 16th in his position at a safety, and 19th in the state of Florida. So not too bad. So he commits, a 4-star recruit, commits to Notre Dame. Now, I'm gonna fluff my own pillow here, just a little bit. Well, not really my pillow, but I'm gonna pump up the alma mater here. 2027 recruits. Oh, but we're going to go to, what am I doing? Oh, where's Notre Dame? There you are. Okay. We're going to go to prospects. And we're going to jump down to the same safety position. And where are we going with this? Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams is, why am I keying on this one recruit? The guy who doesn't talk about recruitment much. Gavin Williams, where does he go to high school? Damien High School in Laverne, California. That is my alma mater. That is what I... Oh, lost the fucking video. Hopefully it comes back to us. There you are. Hello, video. Gavin Williams is from Damien High School, also a 4-star recruit. But get this, get the numbers: 86 nationally versus 175. No offense to Mr. Gamble. 6th in his position nationally in his class. 6th best safety in all of America. And 10th best recruit in the state of California. This guy goes to my former high school, has an offer from the University of Notre Dame, coupled with UCLA, Washington, Texas A&M, USC, and that's it. Every other school is trash other than maybe Texas A&M, maybe Washington, but UCLA, I'm sorry, you disappoint me. And USC, forget about it. All right. You want to go off and do great things with your life, Gavin Williams, please come to the University of Notre Dame. It would be awesome-tacular. All right. I wanted to get that out there because recruiting is picking up in the 2027 class. And I think that's a good place for Notre Dame to be. So. And with that, there's just 2 more final hot takes, unless Max got anything. Number 1, Peacock, who was the color commentary, Ian Book. Ian Book, your former quarterback of the University of Notre Dame, quarterback with the most wins associated to his name. He looked great in the book. In the booth. Ian Book looked great. Sounded good. You know, there's a little bit of nerves you can tell, but that will subside as time goes on. It's like podcasting for the first time, right? You
Is
get
he
used to it.
permanent?
No, I think that was a Peacock thing, you know, but we will do the best we can on this show for anyone who listens at NBC.
So we'll get Jason Garrett again?
I don't know. We'll find out. But point being is, get Ian Book in the booth. Why not? Why not? Let's do it.
I need a change because I buy Sirius and sync it up to the TV just to listen to Notre Dame's broadcast on radio.
Okay. I was kind of hoping you would say you actually hit the SAP button and just listen to the broadcast in Spanish. But
No. Well, if it's NBC, it would be Telemundo. Yes.
Okay. I bet it's more exciting, right? It's like watching a Mexican soccer game, right?
Oh my gosh! Have you ever watched Premier League on Telemundo? It's
I
so
have
much better.
not, but
It's so much better than the British announcers.
well, come on, give me a break. So
I don't know what they're saying, but it's exciting.
everything sounds exciting on Hispanic soccer. All right. So anyway, Ian Book in the booth. That's one more takeaway from the spring game. And then the last thing again, this is so low key, but we're putting this at the end. The shirt. The shirt got revealed on Friday afternoon.
Lame.
I know. You think it's lame? I think it looks good.
It's lame.
Why? Because it's not green.
No, I just thought it could be more creative.
What do you want?
I don't know. Like, I want like touchdown Jesus, like big mural, and then the dome on the back, something like that. I don't know. Something I'm a very loud what I wear. I like loud, obnoxious, bright. I mean, like, for example, it's spring, so I'm wearing like bright pink ties to church and stuff like that.
So come on, what are you doing?
I like something
here?
bold. You know, maybe Joe Montana on there. Maybe Lou Holtz, because Lou Holtz just passed. That would have been nice.
Well, okay, so our Dos Leprechauns people talked about this. Okay, where the what's this bullshit? This is last year's. Come on, Notre Dame, do better. There it is. That's better. Okay. Here's the shirt. Did we talk about the dome is on the back, Mac?
Yeah, I know.
You just said you wanted the dome. They got the dome. What's your problem?
It doesn't have touchdown Jesus also.
What? We should
I
put
said
the
I wanted
grotto on
both.
there. Let's put 10 buildings on the shirt. Is that what you want? You want a mosaic of all the buildings at Notre Dame? Okay.
Absolutely.
Understood. No, what this is Notre Dame football. I kind of like that they got like a ring on the front. I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but that's okay.
Look, here's the deal. We're probably gonna
Can I-
buy it
can I
in
tell
this
you-
house. No. Hold on.
Can I-
hold on. This is important. I'll throw it back to you. Here's the deal. I got a text from Coach Ara Parsegian, the biggest hater on planet Earth. Our director of Cheerio pissing sent me a message that said, I like the shirt. And I'm like, who are you? Are you getting soft on me? Mr. I complain and criticize everything came back and said, yeah, I like the shirt this year.
Can I tell you what is dope? And I was about to say something about this, and funny you kind of bring it up. I love the golf logo. Love it.
Golf?
The leprechaun playing golf. So you know how like they came out with leprechaun
I'm
playing
with
different
you.
sports.
It's gosh.
I love. I'm getting myself a polo for when I go out to the course. I love the logo.
That's fair. All right, let's see here.
Have you seen it?
No, but we're pulling it up right
I
now.
also like the hockey one.
Okay,
I like
here
the
it is.
hockey one.
Yeah, okay. Do they have polos of this?
Yeah, because the golf team wears it.
Do they really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you see? And then it's on their back. They're also selling golf bags with that logo, which is what the
Okay.
golf team wears. And I'm like, oh, this is good.
What's okay? All right. Okay. All right. The polo looks legit, right?
Yeah.
Under Armour. Did you get the navy blue or the white?
I'm thinking the white. I might go
You
with the
want
white.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because I could. I'm thinking, what can I go? Have a Saturday afternoon, go get a dinner.
$72.
Wear to dinner.
Fuck.
I know. That's the reason why I haven't bought it yet.
Jeez Louise, put a second mortgage on your house by the time you fucking
Exactly.
get that. Fuck that. All right. It sounded good. I don't even have a decent set of clubs, so I'm not going to spend it on gear before I buy the hardware that needs to actually hit the ball. Even though I like golf, I would like to play more of it, but I just do not invest time in it. All right. But
I love that
golf is
one
great.
and the hockey logo. The hockey one is pretty sick too.
Gosh, it's all a ploy to get us to spend more money on Notre Dame gear. A great way to end the show. Hey, what else are you gonna do over the summer other than buy Notre Dame shit and just watch historical Peacock episodes of the Snow Bowl or whatever? I don't know.
State Fair's coming up.
State fairs. Okay. Mac,
We got State Fair.
any other thoughts about Notre Dame football before we sign off for the summer? Keep in
Hey,
touch. We're signing the yearbook right now, and we'll see y'all in the early of August. We can finally
I
clear
can't-
off the desk and put the fucking mixer away. Okay.
It'll be here. It'll be here soon. It will. It goes by fast.
And anyone who's a parent of young kids,
Yeah.
that is fact. It goes by fast. It goes by way too fast. My kids are so big. Oh my gosh.
I know.
All right, Mac, what you're the last one on the show, or maybe Jimmy Joe can chime in on this. What do you want to go out to music wise?
Closing time.
Closing time? I don't have that. I
Oh.
need something more hardcore.
Oh, it's hardcore.
Come on. Otherwise,
Mama, I'm coming home.
Okay, I got some Ozzy. All right.
Yeah,
All right. Let's see what
That's
we got.
that's a good ending.
Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think we can make that work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
Hey, God bless to you.
God blessings to you as well. I
Right.
think we'll eventually come back to Notre Dame. And it's the off season. Hey, thanks for everyone for joining us for season 7, episode 2 of the Fighting Irish Faithful show. Still proudly part of Toast Leprechauns Media. check us out in the off season in 31 days. So we're 131 days against Wisconsin. That means we're 31 days until Dose Leprechauns begins our countdown. So check our Facebook page where we will have a countdown from 100, 99, whatever, all the way down to game day of Nerd and players. And we're going to give some players shout outs. It's usually a jersey number thing, right? But yeah, it's we're going to count it down on Dose Leprechauns in the off season. They will be here still. I'll be semi-active on X, on Twitter. For y'all, if y'all want to engage with me, hit me up at faithful_Irish on the X. So thank you so much. That's it.
Go Notre Dame.
Go Irish.
Go.
Go into the summer. Keep in touch well. Man, this is a long song for the Mama Coming Home bit. All right. Thanks so much. I think we'll call it there. Thank you, everybody. Go Irish. Have a good summer. And we'll see you in 105 days.
Okay,
Until the next show.
namaste, everybody.
Go in peace. Serve the Lord. I guess we could have gone out with like the Beach Boys. That might have been a little more summer appropriate, but whatever.
Well,
Good
be
night.
true to your school or something.
No. Good night.